Hi everyone and welcome to Billy Six Trail Golf, and today we're going to clean up the strike of your short game. Okay, so I think that's one of the biggest problems is that we see in short game is the strike. We hit it thin, we hit it fat, we get scared of the ground. Maybe we don't understand, where we should be hitting it on the club or the club face or what part of the club. So there's a lot of questions to answer for just this little simple motion, which can get very complicated very quickly. So to understand chipping, yes, we want to use the ground. You cannot be afraid of the ground. We've got to get used to this club being able to go into the ground and bottom out. Okay, so a couple things we got to discuss here. Where our low point is. In other words, where does the club bottom out? What part of the club is hitting the ground? So the first thing we'll do is talk about that first. So there's bounce on this club. This particular club has 11 degrees of bounce, which is about standard. You can go a little higher, a little lower, depending on the conditions. My suggestion is stay towards the middle to the high side. We need quite a bit of bounce. That's how the club is going to glide into the ball. We want to be able to feel like we don't have to hit it perfect. So we want to actually be able to feel like you can hit a couple inches behind the golf ball, use the bounce, and let the club face slide into the ball. If we had to be perfect, especially with our bottom out point as well, really no one would be good at this because we wouldn't have any confidence, because perfection under pressure is very difficult to obtain. So very first thing, we've got to activate this bounce. So we don't want the leading edge to stay on the ground. So with these shots, the face is going to be slightly open. So the toe is going to get behind the heel a little bit, okay? That's the first thing. The second thing I would do is lift the heel off the ground. Okay, and the reason I want you to do that is because if I'm coming into the ball, right, and the heel catches the ground, it'll speed the toe up, which puts the leading edge into the ground, and it de-lofts the club, and the ball's going to go over the green. Okay, if I lift the heel up and the toe catches, it just speeds the heel up a little bit. So now it's still gliding, and it's kind of a safety factor. So again, open the face to touch and get the heel off the ground a little bit and let the toe slide through the grass. There's a lot of things that we can do that you'll notice before the shot that are going to really prepare you for this. So that's how the club interacts with the grass. We want the bounce to slide through this grass. Now, probably one of the biggest thing is setup. Okay, this ball needs to be on the downward part of my swing circle. So as the club is coming down, it needs to intercept the ball between it and the ground. So I've got to put it on the downward part of my swing circle. Here's what I see so much of. We feel like we're going to help this ball up, and what happens is that we play the ball way back because we're scared to hit the ground first, and then we're trying to get left, and what happens is our shoulders and head and everything will go down this way. As soon as that happens, see, the club is going to bottom out. So if I get here, even if it's way back and I try to hit this, I keep hitting the ball after the ground, okay? And there's certainly no bounce to that, because now with the ball way back, the club tends to get really steep. So ball position is going to be just right of center. So just right of center, so it's on the downward part of our swing circle. And how you get left is probably one of the biggest things that you can do to help yourself. So when I get left, it's almost like I go left foot, right toe. Okay, so if I went left foot, right toe, it almost feels like my hip pushes in and there's a tilt here. So my head and everything will move to the left. And this is basically how I feel like I'm chipping, is this left foot, right toe. So it pushes everything this way. So now when I swing down, that ball is certainly on the bottom part of my swing circle. So let's review. The club is going to be, again, slightly open, heels up. Okay, so it's on the ground, it's going to look like this. So the shaft is going to be a little bit more vertical, and it's going to be a little bit more on the toe, and the heel is going to be up, and the face is going to be slightly open. Now with my setup, I'm going to get here and just feel like I tilt, and it's going to push my left hip in and down. Okay, so now I start to feel what it's like to have that ball on the downward part of my swing circle. So those are all setup keys that we need. One more thing is your grip, okay? It has to be in the palm of your hand. Unlike the full swing, which is in the fingers. Now it's still going to be on top here, but if I were to take this club and turn it over and open my hand, it's right in the palm. Because the last thing I want is a lot of up and down in this club. Now I'm going to have extension and flexion this way, that's fine, but as soon as I get up and down, the club gets too steep. So again, in the palm of your hand, and feeling how the club and your hands are working this way, but not a lot of up and down. So we'll just hit a little one here. Make some practice swings, get the shaft up. So you start to feel, lean left. Now I start to feel like everything is left of the ball. So the club is coming on the downward part of my swing circle. So get set up, lean left, back, and chip. One more. Get set up, lean left, back. Again, nice and free in your hands. Lean left, back, chip. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we're going to go over a few mechanics that I think will really help you out as far as what you're trying to do with your swing and some thoughts to get the face on the golf ball. Okay, now that we've taken everything into consideration before we start the movement, so we've got how the club is sitting on the ground, how it sits in your hands, your grip, how your setup is, so now we're prepared to hit the shot. So there's a few things that we want to look at first before we get into the shot. So how the club is working. So again, because it's in the palm of my hands, I'm starting to feel how the club is swinging back and forth. Again, this is not something that we want to be really tight with, and I know a lot of us are, because we feel like you have to be perfect. And so you have to manipulate the face on the way down. That's what we're trying to get away from. We're trying to use the ground. So if I just get the club up in the air and I take it with just my right arm only, as I swing back and forth, I want to be soft enough in my arm so I can feel how the club reacts in my wrist. I don't want to be tight, but I want to feel the club is going to have a little bit of this in it. So as it swings back and forth, the club is going to load and unload and release, for a better term, over here. So it's going to feel this, and your hands have to be soft enough so you can feel the way the club reacts in your hand. So again, right arm only, back, forth, back, forth. So I want to start to feel how the club is reacting and making my wrist react. So again, back, forth. Okay. Secondly, once I put both hands on and start to feel that, start to feel how soft in my arms and in my wrists, so I can go back and forth and feel how the club is reacting. Now, impact. This is a big deal on how this shoulder works. Okay, so when I swing back, and this is what I get a lot of, this shoulder can't be lower than where it started. So this shoulder is actually going to feel like it works up and then over a little bit. So it gets back up to the ball. My left hip is going to help me with that. So as I swing back, as my left hip pushes back, it pulls my right side up into the ball. And my shoulder actually feels like it comes over the top. Now I can do whatever I want with the path of the club with my hands, because my hands are soft. So more than likely they're going to feel a touch behind. But the last thing I want to do is feel like my shoulder goes up and down this way. So that's a major short game killer. That's probably one of the biggest things that I see besides setup is if I swing back and my legs go out from under me. So you can see this. If I swing back, my legs go out from under me and my shoulder goes down. That's why the club will definitely bottom out before the ball. So I see a lot of that when we chip. So you can see that the shoulder went down and it never got up to the ball. So this shoulder has to be up to the ball. So when we, again, get your set up, we're going to lean left, so you're going to feel once we swing back, this left hip pushes our right side up to the ball and my shoulder stays high. So it almost feels like I come over the top. Get the setup, left, back, and it feels like I almost come over the top of it. Now if you pull it a little bit, get a little softer in your hands so the face of the club can get behind a little bit. So again, get the toe up, lean left, up, and feel like you almost come over the top, and now you can start to use the ground. So now we're going to put both hands on. So again, I'm going to be in the palm, hand is here, hands are up so the heel comes off the ground. We're going to lean left, back, forth, right? Once I swing back, that shoulder goes up, my left hip's going to go all the way up to the ball. So we'll make a couple little ones here. So you're going to feel back, up to the ball. So your shoulder feels like it's up and up to the ball. So again, it's on the downward part of our swing circle. So it's back, up to the ball. So this should eliminate that thin and that heavy shot by making sure that your setup's correct and that you're getting up to the ball. This shoulder stays, it's going to feel higher, but this shoulder stays up so it doesn't go down, so the weight of the club can go down in the ground and you feel like you can bottom out and start to use the ground. You've got to be able to use the ground, and these tips will help you do that. How you set up and then how you're working these angles to make sure that the club is swinging downward and the golf ball is on the downward part of your swing circle. So manage these tips. It's a small motion, but these things are critical to becoming good in the short game. Take a lot of pressure off your full swing. Hi everyone, like and subscribe to my channel, Billy Fitzgerald Golf, for all tips on golf. If you'd like a live lesson or want to send me a message, visit me at billyfitzgeraldgolf.com.